In your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you deserve to live your best life. Say goodbye to preconceived notions and let's shatter those stereotypes together. Get ready to own your vitality because age, well, that's just a number.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on Age is Just a Number. I'm here with Tracey and she has an amazing story that we're going to talk about. And before we get into that, I'm just going to ask you real quick, if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel. Give us a like for the video. We are putting out a pile of content every week. You want to make sure you don't miss anything. And so by subscribing, you'll be notified whenever we put out new content. So, Tracey, let's start with, let's just start with your story, because I think for those of you that are watching, you've seen some of the more inspirational things that we have on, where we have guests coming on talking about their health and fitness journey and experience and everything else. And I know for you, you're in process, right?
Yes.
I guess we're all in process, but are you halfway to where you want to get to?
Yeah, not quite half, but getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the broad brushstrokes. How much weight have you lost since you made that decision to do something about it?
124 pounds.
So 124 pounds. That's like a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's 124 pounds. So now let's back up. So that's where we're at right now. But let's back up and talk about kind of how, tell me what was happening. What happened? So you're obviously in a situation where you're 124 pounds heavier.
Yep.
And what is I guess let's just back up. How did you get there? And then how do you start to figure out what to do next?
I got there, I mean, you look back on my family history, it's definitely hereditary. My dad was bigger, his family's bigger. My mom's side of the family are a bit of both, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was just, a lot of it was hereditary, a lot of it was stuff that you grew up eating that was just normal to eat, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't care about grabbing a bag of chips, so we always had a snack cupboard. And obviously when you're younger, you're burning that off. So I was never larger at a younger age.
Right.
It was sort of in my 30s that I started to gain weight. Your body starts to change as you get older. We like to eat out. We like to do stuff. And I never really cared. Like, I just didn't care. I thought, if I'm happy, that's all I cared about.
Okay.
And food made me happy, right?
Okay.
Food is just one of those things, like, there's still stuff I could put in my body that just makes me feel so good, right?
Sure.
Food was never something that made me not happy.
Okay.
Right? Food always made me feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it becomes less of a nutrition thing and more of a if you're feeling down in the dumps, you eat.
Yeah, if you're
right?
happy, you eat.
Yeah, if you're happy, you eat.
Yeah. The only time I didn't is if I was like super anxious about something.
Okay.
Then I didn't feel like my tummy would just sort of turn off, right?
Okay.
That was probably the only mood that didn't make me want to eat. But if you're happy, you want to celebrate. If something good happens, and I also come from a really big family.
Okay.
Like my mom's got 9 brothers and sisters. My dad had 5. I've got a ton of cousins on both sides.
Yeah.
So we always had, everything we did was food oriented. Like, family came together, you'd have big meals, and you'd have, food was the center of everything we did.
Okay.
Right? It meant family, it meant love.
Sure.
Right?
Okay. So now jump ahead. This was about a year ago for you, was it? Or a year and a half
August
ago?
last year.
August of last year. So, okay. Now, how old are you right now?
On Sunday, I'll be 53.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. So, you're 52.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
And what's the decision, or how do you come to the decision, I have to do something about what's going on here?
For me, it was I have a small dog, just 7 pounds. She's a little thing. And for me, I was finding it hard just walking around the block.
Okay.
Just to give her a couple of walks a day.
Okay.
And I was finding walking around the block just getting too hard.
Okay.
And I thought, oh my God, I'm only in my 50s. And my dad died when he was 64. When you start to see yourself getting really close to an age where you had a parent pass away, you start to go, oh my God, if I'm feeling like this now, right, is my end also going to be 64, right? And I didn't want that to be. Will it? Who knows? But I can do stuff that tries to turn it around.
Okay, so now, we come to this moment of epiphany where you're like, I'm barely making it around the block with my little dog here.
Yeah.
So then what? Because where do you start? I guess because we're 124 pounds. That's a significant amount of weight, and like you said, you're about halfway to your goal.
Well, it gets so massive.
Yeah.
That it doesn't feel doable. So then if it's not doable, why bother, right? And the only way I saw it being possible was to get gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
So I started the journey to that. And we looked at Ozempic. The first doctor said no. The second doctor said, yeah, we'll monitor you. We'll put you on it. And we'll start you off really low. And obviously you got to change your lifestyle. You got to change your diet, all that. So I reached all the targets to get to the surgeon point.
Okay. And how did you do that?
At that point, it was just really being careful with my diet.
Okay.
Right? Because I was still, at that point, I was 397.5 pounds.
Wow.
That was my starting point.
Okay.
And so exercise was hard. Like, it was not easy to do anything.
Yeah.
So it was really focusing on the diet. I'd have something small for breakfast, and I've never been a breakfast eater. I could easily not eat it. My main meal of the day was lunch, and then something small for dinner. And I was just really diligent. There was no snacking. I wasn't eating out. Like, really rarely we would go out.
Yeah.
And I was super careful with what I ate when I went out. But I was so focused on getting to that surgeon point that I let all the distractions go. On a lifelong basis, I knew at that point I had to just start hammering down what I'm doing in my personal life.
Okay.
And in April, so just before I'd seen the surgeon and got the final no, sort of that in-between point from his first appointment to the final no point, I had started Aquafit.
Okay.
And I do Aquafit a lot. I do minimum of 7 sessions a week, anywhere up to 12 sessions a week. Aquafit, I can do an hour session and I can burn 700 calories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the water balances you. When you're not in water, if you're running or you're doing jumping jacks or whatever you're doing, you're still focusing on your balance.
Yeah.
Right? So it slows down the speed of your movement.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in water, you can move twice as fast. Yes, you have the resistance of the water, but it still allows your body to move way, way faster.
Okay.
And then I also heard from somebody who does professional scuba diving that because the water contracts all the heat out of your body, your body has to work that much harder to keep
your
it
body
warmer,
temperature up.
right?
Okay, sure.
So between the two, you're burning way more calories.
Right.
And I see the dietitian at the clinic like 3 times a year, and they've got access. So I had to weigh my food. I have to, like, for the first, up until I got referred to the surgeon, I had to keep a diary of all my food, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And they had to have the password to it, so they had to see what I was doing all the time. And so
you
it was just
you just carried that over.
Yeah. And then the surgeon made me go to the protein shake in the morning, protein shake for dinner, light lunch, right? And I just carried on doing what the surgeon wanted me to do because it works,
right?
And I'm not hungry,
right? So now you're doing somewhere between 7 and 12 aquafit sessions a week.
Yep.
You have a core class. Are you doing anything else?
Walking. I just do a lot of walking. So usually anywhere between 3 and 7 kilometers a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I saw that you were doing some paddle boarding.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So,
in the summer I do that.
Yeah. So what was that like? Because you've never
I'm too
done that
wimpy
before,
in the winter.
Right? Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This is, no. If I want to be in the ocean in winter, it needs to be in the South Pacific, not the North Pacific.
Yes. I love paddleboarding. I'm not strong enough to stand and do it yet. I do a few minutes here and there of it, but I haven't built my core enough.
Okay, but even the fact that you're doing it is a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
Because you weren't able to do any of that before.
No. And even if you're sitting or kneeling and paddleboarding, the amount of muscles you're using is still crazy. Like I am really sore after doing a couple of hours of paddleboarding. My upper body, my arms are like so sore you can hardly move. So you're still using a lot during it. But I'm a water person for sure. Like I realize that if I'm going to be in my happy place, I've got to be in water somewhere. And exercise is not my thing. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I love going to do aquafit.
Yeah.
I love the paddleboarding. Going to a gym is torture to me.
Right. So you found a way, and we talk about this on the channel a lot, is finding what works for you and what fits for you. You found a way to incorporate exercise into your lifestyle, but in a way that works for you. Like you said, like I like going to the gym. Yeah. It's like
lots of people do.
Right. I like everything about going to the gym. Yeah. Right. But if it doesn't work for you, if it's like, oh, I hate this. Yeah. You're going to take the first opportunity to not go.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. So, I think we talk about that a lot, is you find something that works for you so that you can do what you need to do for your health and fitness journey. And so now we said you're 124, right? 124 pounds in, and you want to go another 124? What's the number?
Yeah, well, my end goal, I'm at 274 now. Yeah. My goal would be probably about the 150 mark.
Okay.
Right?
So another 120 pounds kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's like 2 people. Yeah. When all is said and done, that'd be like 2 people. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you could say, okay, what are I always ask when I have people on the channel, can you give me 3, do you have 3 takeaways that you can give me that this journey thus far that you've gotten from this, that you take out of this?
Yeah, I think one, the change in my mental health has made a big difference. I'm clear. My brain functions better.
Once you started taking care of your body.
Yeah, once I started taking care of my body, my brain changed. Yeah. Right? The cravings have gone for the most part until if I decide to have a chocolate bar or I decide to have something, boom, I'm right back at having those cravings. Yeah.
So do you just stay right off of everything then? Is that better for you?
Yeah, I find as soon as I have one, I'm having 5, right? And not in the same day. But suddenly you're 2 weeks later and I'm still having a chocolate bar. Okay. Right? Yeah. I would say good protein. And it's literally, that's the name of the product that I use. It's been my lifesaver.
Okay.
For anybody that has a bit of a sweet tooth, solves the problem.
Okay.
I have the mocha one almost every day, but they've got salted caramel, they've got strawberry, and they don't have that weird aftertaste.
Okay.
So it's literally like having a shake. They've got about 10 different flavors, right? And so you feel like you're being naughty, but you're not being naughty, right?
That's awesome.
And so I would say to anybody wanting to change it, go look, and it's a Canadian product. They're from back east.
Yeah.
I swear by it. I would tell everybody to use it because you can be naughty without being naughty.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I mean, my brain, my body, how I feel is different.
Yeah.
I'm obviously in the perimenopause stage, so that's a lot of it has helped a little bit in that direction.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of temperament and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of having layers of issues, it sort of removes some of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So is there a takeaway that you have that you say, hey, here's something I can apply for my whole life? I guess I get that your fitness is critical to your whole life, but is there something in what you've learned in the last year that you can say, hey, I'm taking this principle and applying it to everything in my life, or I can? I know some people.
I'm not that deep,
right? Well, some people have said, some people have said, I just take that same principle of getting in the gym. I apply that now to getting my projects done at work, or that kind of thing. Is there anything like that for you?
It's more of an open-mindedness thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I was always a real hard no to trying new things, doing other stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, agreeing to come do this with you was rough.
It was actually pretty easy for me because I thought I was going to have to work harder to get you to come.
Initially, you had said, hey, can you come on Thursday? And my brain just couldn't go there.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, oh, no. And then you're like, oh, we have the 14th available. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do that one. Because then I knew I had time to mentally handle it, right?
Yeah.
I've never been one to put myself out into anything.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm pushing myself to do stuff that I wouldn't normally do.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you did great. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it'll be inspirational for people watching it. And I think for all of us out there, we're all at different places in our health and fitness journey. And, maybe there's something you can take from what you hear about Tracey's story and the fact that it didn't work out the way you thought it was, but you didn't quit, right? You kept going, you stuck with the process. And, that moment of epiphany, you didn't do some big thing. You just started with the little things right where you were at, right?
Yeah.
I think we talk about that a lot on the channel is start where you're at so that you can, get where you're going kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, so we're going to have Tracey back and she's one less person now in the last year. She'll be another less person next time we have her on the channel, but thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. If you haven't, please give us a like and a subscribe. If you have, I'd love to hear about your health and fitness journey. And if you've got a story like Tracey's or something that, hey, this was going this way and this is how this happened for me, it inspires a whole lot of people. So please put it in the comments. And thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time. See ya.